And welcome again, everyone, to another edition of the BIS podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network. Josh Green here, live with none other than the man himself, Stoney Ward. Stoney, welcome back to the BIS podcast. And man, oh man, have you got any more stories like you did last time for us?
Gosh, Josh, I probably got several stories, and some of them are just unbelievable or what have you, and then some of them are just too funny to tell. So, yeah, traveling around the state of Texas, it just does not have its shortage of good stories and fun things to talk about and goofy things I've run into.
You're absolutely right, Stoney. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to visit with us here on the podcast. And on today's episode, Stoney, we're going over cybersecurity training. Now, we've got a new video that we put out here at BIS for cybersecurity training. Now, Stoney, how much do you know about cybersecurity, and what's kind of been your relationship with it?
Cybersecurity has been something that personally on my side, with the previous career that I had, was cybersecurity is one of the biggest and fastest growing crimes out there, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Cybersecurity has definitely shown its teeth in some of the aspects of essentially gaining money from people or entities that, without having cybersecurity, they really don't know anything about. As far as the law enforcement side of it, Josh, the ability to track and run down where a lot of this cybersecurity breaks are happening, to get a conviction on that is I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I can tell you it takes a whole lot of resources. And one of the biggest things that we've come to see is when people take advantage of opportunities they have to fight off cybersecurity or cyber attacks and train their staff, that is the best defense against cyber attacks in the world today.
No, absolutely, Stoney. As you talked about, you kind of come from the law enforcement side where you, here in the last, or probably where you were kind of getting to the end of your career, starting to see really an uptick in that. Of course, we've seen a big uptick in that since probably about in the last 5 to 10 years, especially when COVID came about and everyone was working from home. That's when we really started to see an uptick in this. And here at BIS, we do a cybersecurity training course because we want all our clients to be cyber safe. And Stoney, it's very important because, as you said, it's not impossible to prosecute, but it's really, really hard because they're coming up with so many new and inventive ways to create these attacks.
Best way to kind of look at it, Josh, and the best analogy I can give is, for everything, for every time, and for every circumstance that we're coming up with on technology or in technology to put a hamper on cybersecurity attacks, these hackers are sitting there constantly working on ways to overcome and break through the barriers that we've been putting forth to stop their attacks. And it's one of those crimes, Josh, that is, as I stated, very hard to prosecute. A lot of these things are coming from overseas. A lot of people are infiltrating the United States on every level possible just to try to get inside of their let's, in our instance, our main customers for CADs, tax offices, governmental entities. I can even share a story where I worked for a governmental entity itself that got hacked back in my law enforcement career, and it was a pretty substantial amount of money that was taken before it was realized what was going on. So, anything that we can do as BIS, as far as training your staff and getting the cybersecurity training under their belt to help combat that, is what we're all about. And if we can, deter 1 or 2, 3 attempts from people trying to infiltrate the entity that we protect, then we're doing our job.
No, absolutely, Stony. And I kind of want to, as you go into that a little bit, here at BIS, of course, people probably know by now we had a sort of a attack happen with us, but we were able to neutralize that threat, lock everything down, and none of our clients' information was touched. And I want to give a shout out to our IT team in that fact, because we did, pretty much what you need to do to have everything in place to make sure you're protected from a cybersecurity attack. We were able to neutralize the threat, recognize, lock down, and also also we had all our information backed up. And one of the things I've talked about with Brandon Lewis, who's a sort of cybersecurity guru, Stony, on this, is they always make sure you have everything backed up, backed up, backed up. And I want to give a shout out to our IT team here because they worked so diligently here in the last couple of weeks to make sure all that information was protected. And they did a heck of a job. So not just to toot our own horn a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to them on that.
Oh, most definitely, Josh. Them guys and gals worked, endless hours making sure that everything was taken care of and secured. And, having a cybersecurity team on our staff that constantly is monitoring the things that are going on within our CADs and are taking care of our servers and watching everything that they possibly can to make sure that our customers are taken care of. You've got the top of the line, almost USDA prime beef guys and gals that are doing that job on behalf of BIS, and I take my hat off to them, every day for the things that they do. So that shout out was very well deserved, Josh.
Absolutely, there, Stony. Well, again, we're talking about the cybersecurity training course that BIS offers every year. Now, folks, if you'd like to get on this pretty quickly, the course is only $35 per person before December 31st, and then $45 beginning in January 1 of 2025. But again, folks, we want to make sure that you have that training because we know it is required. So, Stony, what are some of the things that folks can expect from this year's training of cybersecurity?
They'll be able to go in there and they'll be able to go through this training, Josh, and it really trains them to look for stuff that just isn't right. A possible email that could be a phishing email that may come into them, or they may be looking at it as, hey, this email really doesn't make sense that was sent from this person. Why would this person be sending me this kind of email? So it's really going to pinpoint and help narrow down the employee's ability to spot some emails that do not look right. And the best thing that they can do, the best option they have for themselves and for the entity that they work for is, if you see something that just doesn't look right, it's best and safe just to not click on it. You might call your IT provider. You may call us if we're your IT provider, and we're definitely going to walk through that email with our clients to say, hey, we'll take care of that email. Let's go ahead and delete that one. But the biggest thing, the biggest ability that we have as people, I will say, when we get those emails, Josh, is just to really kind of review it. Don't click on any links that are attached to an email, especially if it doesn't look right. The links is what gets you in trouble. That's how they infiltrate your system, is by going into the link. Once you've clicked on that link, you've kind of opened the floodgates for somebody to try to come in and actually break through the barriers. But that's basically the biggest push point for cybersecurity training, is being able to recognize something that doesn't look right. We've had cases to where, it looked like an email came from another employee, from one employee to another employee inside of a CAD, and it just didn't look right to the employee that got it. The wording and everything that the person was saying and the context of the paragraph. So that person took the initiative to get up and actually walk down the hallway to have a conversation with the person who was supposed to have sent that email, and they never sent it. What it was a phishing email. They got the information from one individual and sent an email to another person inside the same building, and it ended up being an attempt to do a cyber attack. So definitely having the ability to see something that just doesn't look right and go and get another opinion from your IT staff or the person that may have emailed you, or even calling us. You are more than welcome to do that, and we'll walk you through that and make sure that you're not clicking on an email that could potentially get your entity hacked.
Oh, absolutely, Stony. And one of the things that the course will go over this year is especially, and something that's kind of come up here in the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years or so, is the new AI feature that a lot of places have. We use it here at BIS. But again, folks, wherever there's some kind of new invention, there's always going to be some kind of person that's going to try to scam their way around it and try to infiltrate it. And this course this year, Stony, kind of goes over, the protection and what you can do to protect against those threats of AI. And so, Stony, that's kind of one of the new things that goes over this year, especially, just because of the new kind of way technology is going about.
Oh my goodness, Josh! AI is the up and coming thing in technology today by far. Even to the point to where college students are using AI or Chat GPT to write their papers. It just does so much, and that's part of the new world that and direction that everything's going toward now, and being able to combat some of the AI things that are coming to surface. AI can be used as a great tool to help with many different areas. But just as much as it can be used for good, it can definitely be used for bad as well, Josh.
Absolutely, Stoney. Well, we're just about out of time on this edition of the BIS podcast. Again, we're talking about the new cybersecurity training course. And again, folks, just to let you know about the course, we have the link. So if you email us, just email us. We'll send you the link for the new course. And the course is about an hour or so long and can be taken individually or as a group. Again, the course is $35 per person before December 31st, and beginning on January 1st of 2025, it will be $45. So make sure you jump on here and take that course here in 2024. That way you can get a little bit of the savings. And when your staff has completed the course, email us at training@bisconsultants.com, a list of the first and last names and the TDLR numbers for those who have one. And once we have the list, we will submit your credits to TDLR and we'll send you your certificate. So just to let the folks know that, again, if you want to take the course, we'll email you the video. Make sure you kind of jump on it here. Make sure you get those savings. Again, $35 a person before December 31st. After December 31st, it's $45 a person. And again, once you get that and give us the first and last names of the people who will be taking the course, we will then submit those certificates to you and that you are cyber approved. Well, Stoney, again, sir, thank you for going over this with us today in the new course and looking forward to it. Anything we need to kind of say or do before we sign it off today?
The only thing that I can caution or push or hope that our clients will take a look at is, even if you don't do the cybersecurity training through us here at BIS, no matter what, you're our family, you're our clients, you're our people. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure that your staff is trained up on this cybersecurity. But go out and find it somewhere. Get you some good cybersecurity training for your team and your staff, so that you're not looking at it, 6 months down the road thinking, "Gosh, I wish I'd have done it because we got hacked off of somebody's email or a phishing scam or anything like that." But make sure you try to take that extra step and go get that training for yourself and your team. And like I said, anything that we can do to help out on our end from BIS, we're definitely all in to do it. We'll make it work for your budget, because we'd rather see you safe than having to look at something later on and have a cyber attack occur at your entity. So we're behind you no matter what.
Make sure, again, as Stoney said, just be sure you do that training again, whether it's with us or you find somebody else that can do that training for you. Just make sure that you are cyber safe. Well, Stoney, again, sir, thank you so much for joining us here today on the BIS podcast. As always, we appreciate you, sir, and what you do for us.
No, thank you, Josh. I appreciate you having me. I can't wait to see all you clients sooner than later.
Thank you so much, Stoney. Again, you've been listening to another edition of the BIS podcast. For Stoney Ward, I'm Josh Green, saying until next time, so long and goodbye.